Welcome to March 25th, 2021 Planning Board meeting. First, I'd like to congratulate Pastor Bill for being a full member now.
Thank you.
And I want to thank Ray for joining us. He's an alternate as of tonight.
Proud to be here, proud to serve.
The first item on the agenda is a site plan design review application for ENI 55 B&B Lane. It's for a map 411 lot 197 in the industrial zone for 2 above ground propane fuel storage tanks and a subsurface disposal system. The first thing we need to do is accept this as complete. I glanced through the application, to be honest with you. I didn't. What is this doing up? Where did I go? There we are.
They weren't applying for any waivers that I saw.
No.
The only thing I noticed is that I don't see anywhere about the Aquifer Protection District. But I don't see that in the checklist either real quickly.
I'm not worried, but we'll get to that. I mean, there's no mystery there. I think we pretty much all know what's in the Aquifer Protection.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't see any waivers being requested. I don't see anything about the aquifer protection in the checklist, so.
I'll make a motion that we accept the application as complete.
No, second.
Oh, good.
We got a motion and a second to accept the application complete. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? I guess that passed 4-1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
What is it?
4-0. Yes. Is somebody here to present the applications?
Well, before we go too far, I just want to make it known that I'm not, although I'm not in a butter to this, I'm only a couple hundred feet away. So just letting the applicant know that, so there shouldn't be any surprises down the road that I'm not lot 206, that's on the east side of the industrial park that goes all the way up around and behind it. So just putting it out there so everybody knows. So there's no surprises.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Here's-
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
would you like me to? So my name is Sandra Gay and I'm the permitting attorney for ENI. My office is in Portland, Maine, although I am also licensed in New Hampshire. And I'm just going to very quickly go over with you who's here tonight, who will discuss the site plan and talk to you about the tanks. And also just to point out, there is a note about the Aquifer Protection Zone. It's note 3 on the site plan, which is 3 of 6 in your packet. But the project engineer can discuss that a little bit more with you. So here tonight is Peter Kropp, and Peter here is here by telephone, but he's a representative of the applicant Energy North. Chris Tamula is the project manager, and he's with GPI, and he'll go over the site plan and answer any of those site plan related questions that the board might have. And then also Jody Amadin and Kyle Thrasher are with Crown Energy Solution, and they're propane safety and compliance specialists, and they can answer any questions the board might have about the tanks, and they'll also go over that with you. So just really briefly, you have the application. The property is located at 55 B&B Lane. It's a 2.6 acre parcel. It's the present location of Putnam Fuel and will be the location of Putnam Fuel. The property is presently improved with a 2-bay mechanic shop and a bulk fuel storage facility. These uses will remain in addition to the 2 30,000 gallon liquid propane storage tanks that we're proposing to add now. The property is located in the industrial district, and fuel storage and distribution centers are a permitted use and allowed by right in that zone. And really, that's all. This is, I understand this is design review, and you'll be hopefully, providing some helpful feedback. So I'm going to just turn it right over to Chris and have him walk you through the site plan, the existing conditions, and I'm sure he'll be able to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, Sandy. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Again, for the record, Chris Tamula, I'm the project manager with Greenman Peterson, and our offices are located at 44 Stiles Road in Salem, New Hampshire. Mr. Chair, if I may, I'd like to share my screen so everybody could see essentially the existing conditions plan, and then I have a colored up rendering of the proposed site plan. And I'll just kind of briefly go over what Sandra talked about, as well as get into some additional details as needed.
Okay. If Naomi lets him.
No, I let him.
All right, so everybody can see the screen here?
Yes.
All right. So as Sandra had mentioned, the lot is a 2.6 acre parcel, and it is surrounded by industrial uses on all sides. Basically the north, east, and south of the site. B&B Lane is located on the bottom of the page here. Access to the site is through two existing driveway curb cuts. There's one located here, and there's one located here as well. The majority of the site is gravel, with the bulk of the fuel storage located in the rear of the site here. There is also a diesel fueling canopy centrally located here. And the one-story metal garage that Sandra was talking about is located generally here. The site is generally flat. It pitches essentially from the midpoint of the site. There's a drainage swale along the front of the site, with a couple of culverts, and then everything else drains to the woods, and essentially is fully developed. As Sandra had mentioned, what we are proposing are two new 30,000 gallon above ground propane fueling tanks. Access to the tanks will be through the same gravel driveways along the left and right of the site, with new gravel located bisecting the site, connecting the two gravel driveways and surrounding the propane fuel tanks. The propane tanks will be set on small concrete foundations, and they'll be surrounded by a guardrail for safety and protection. We do have what are called bobtail parking spaces, which are located here and here. And essentially the bobtail is the small vehicle that comes in, offloads gets the fuel from these two locations. And then there's a transport offload area here where the fuel tanker truck would come into the site, unload here, filling up the propane tanks, and then generally leave the site. In addition to the propane tanks themselves, we are showing 4 new light poles, which will have dark sky compliant fixtures to be just essentially provide safety and lighting in this general area. The remainder of the site will be unchanged. The fuel storage that's there will remain there. And there are, right now we are showing a fenced area around the entire front of the site with gated access to again provide security and safety for the delivery drivers dropping off the fuel. Go back to the other plan here. One second. As part of the development, we do have a grading and drainage plan. We are trying to maintain the existing grades that are out there today. There's a small little knob of elevation here. We're kind of flattening that out. So the existing grades, we're tying into the existing grades along the left and the right-hand side of the site. This dash line here is the new gravel driveway accessing the propane tanks. And again, we tried to maintain the existing grades where possible, and there's very consistent grades will be designed as part of this the development. In addition to the actual on-site construction of the tanks, the fencing, the guardrail, we want to make sure that we are protecting the surrounding abutting properties. So we do have a row of silt fence along the left, the right, and the surrounding the front of the site to prevent any erosion from going onto the abutting properties. And we're also showing a proposed temporary gravel construction exit for vehicle tracking. So there's no tracking during construction of gravel or dirt onto the roadway system. And then finally, the utility plan. So we have gone out there and done some test pits for the proposed septic system. So we're showing a 4K septic area here, which will be a new septic system for the garage. We are also showing a proposed private on-site non-public water supply located here, which will provide water for the existing garage. It should be noted that there is no existing water on site. There is no existing septic system on site. There is just a small porta potty that's located in the rear of the site. So what they're looking to do is provide an on-site septic system for the few workers that are in the garage, as well as provide some water. That's really it for the plans themselves. There's not a tremendous amount of work going on here. We're just here again for the propane tanks. The septic system is currently in progress, being worked on, and then we will submit that to the state for approval once that's completed. So unless there are any questions for me for the site plans, as Sandra said, Jody is here to discuss any questions that the board may have with regards to the propane fuel tanks. But other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
I got a couple questions. Do you have the existing impervious area?
The existing, I may have a note. 1 second here.
I saw it proposed. I didn't see it existing.
So the impervious area is really just the buildings, the canopy, and the concrete. We don't consider the gravel as being impervious. So there really wouldn't be any new change to the impervious.
We do consider compacted gravel impervious.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, so we can update the notes as.
The only reason I bring it up is because if it's over 10%, you need a conditional use permit.
A 10% increase?
10% total.
10% of the total lot.
Yes.
Okay, we can look into that.
I should rephrase that. If the existing is over 10%, you cannot increase the, how do I say this? You have to maintain the same permeability you do now, same amount of infiltrations you do now.
Okay.
It's in the regs.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, looking at the site,
It's not going to be a problem.
The existing impervious coverage on the site is definitely greater than 10% existing.
Yes. Yes, I knew that. Yeah, we've had several site walks in this general area, just up the road a little bit from you.
So you'd said we need a conditional use permit, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, because on tanks like that, what is it? The shadow line of the tank is considered impervious, or what? The tank's completely above ground.
All the tanks that are there today are above ground, and the 2 new tanks are also proposed to be above ground.
Yeah, but what are you going to consider impervious for the LP tanks too?
Well, if gravel is by the town bylaws considered impervious, I would consider that the tanks are also impervious.
Right.
So we would add that all into the overall calculation.
Yep. Okay.
You shouldn't have an issue out here anyway with this very gravelly soil, as you probably are aware.
Yes. Yep.
And then infiltration is going to be pretty easy thing to obtain, I believe. So where's your leach field going to be?
So the leach field.
I saw the 4K area, but that's.
Yep. Yeah. So we did a series of test pits. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 test pits.
Yes.
So the leach field would be located in this general area. They'll be outside of the 75 and 125 foot radius for the proposed well.
How many employees you got?
There are 2 employees. It's my understanding there's 2 employees there. So it's going to be a very small system. I think
Yes.
it's 300 gallons or something like that. It's very small. And due to the test pits that we had dug out there, the seasonal high ranged from 48 inches down to about 72 inches. So with the septic system being located here, we don't envision there being much change to the existing grade versus proposed. It may be 6 inches here or there more, but it'll generally be the same elevation as was out there today.
I believe the well radius has to be on the 75 foot well radius has to be entirely on the lot, though.
It's my understanding that as long as you are within 10 feet of the property line, then it does meet the requirements for the well radius.
I thought they changed that like 2 years ago.
Yeah, they're holding it to like 5 feet now because that's how close you can put a septic tank to a lot line.
Yeah, we can look into that. I mean, we have flexibility in the location of that well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You got plenty of, you got it up against the corner of the fork area. It can go over another 20 feet and still not be a problem.
Sure.
Would you consider silt sock instead of silt fence?
Absolutely.
I don't like silt fence. It's a personal thing.
Yep. We have that's not an issue whatsoever.
Anybody else have any comments?
We, due to the nature of these storage tanks, we're gonna give this to K&A to review.
Yeah, I think we have to.
Yeah.
Will the fire department weigh in on this?
Yeah, they haven't replied yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Jody, Jody is here. She could discuss any conversations that she's had to date already with the fire department as needed.
I met with the fire chief last year in December. We walked the site and he helped me gather information to prepare the fire safety analysis for this site. He provided me with their training levels, response times, the water capability, just to make sure that this design fit with what was there for resources. And he didn't have any concerns. I believe he also has a copy of the fire safety analysis I prepared December 10th of last year.
Personally, I'm going to defer to the fire chief for most of that. He knows more about it than I do.
Exactly.
There's no doubt about that in my mind. If the fire chief says it's okay, it probably is okay. I don't think I'm going to have an issue.
That's the first person I always reach out to, just to make sure that it fits within the community and that the resources are there.
Well, you got a fire pond right down the road.
Yeah, you're very fortunate in this location to have a fire pond with great dry hydrant access. So I don't usually have that.
I was a little confused with the chain link fence and the guardrail. Both are on the front of it. Is that right?
Yeah. So what Energy North is currently looking to do is there's no fencing around the entire property right now. So they're looking to essentially enclose the entire property with fencing. They are contemplating whether they want to go all the way back, the location of the fence, but it's a 6 foot tall chain link fence. And then obviously the guardrail is located here, surrounding the tanks to provide a crash barrier and protection that way.
I didn't see that. I couldn't see that in my little plan. Okay, that makes sense.
Sure.
That's
Chuck,
required by code.
Okay. Chuck, did you have something else you were going to say?
So this is Ray. I probably have a dumb question. Most of the propane, above ground propane tanks I've been around, there's an emergency shutoff switch somewhere.
There are multiple emergency shutoff switches for this facility. They'd be at each of the stanchions and at the transport load, offload, and then it's required by code to have another one between 25 and 100 feet. So roughly you'd have 4 emergency shutoffs. So if there was any need for either any of the drivers to do it or someone in the office, they could shut it off. And those are just what we call the ESVs.
No shutoffs, just simply disable the pumps, right?
No, they close all the valves.
Okay.
It's a thermal link that's pneumatically charged with nitrogen. So if you hit any one of these switches, it kills the nitrogen line and shuts all the valves.
Okay.
And to load or to offload, you have to charge those lines to open those valves. Otherwise, it's kept in a neutral or a closed position.
Any other board members have any questions, comments?
How many trucks a day you think you're gonna be?
I'm not sure if Pete is available to answer that question. I know that the existing facility obviously it ranges with the number of vehicles a day. I'm not sure what the capacity and what the anticipated volume would be for new trucks a day. I'm not sure. Jody, maybe you have an understanding as well if Pete's not around.
Chris, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
For the record, Peter Kropp, Director of Supply and Trading for Energy North. The amount of trucks per day during the peak winter season, we have another facility that mirrors this one. We're looking at about 1 transport per day. So that'd be about October. Actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. About 1 transport, which is the large truck per business day. And that's from about October to the end of March. In the summer.
That's to load the tank, right? To load the tanks?
Correct.
Yeah.
In the summer, you might have 1 or 2 a week. And then as far as the bobtail, the small home delivery trucks, those would be, you'd have anywhere from 2 to 3 operating out of this location, and they would leave in the morning, come back, reload at this location. If they're coming back to reload out of this location, they might use one of our other ones, and then they'd come back and reload at the end of the day before going home. So you'd have about 2 to 3 small home delivery trucks operating out of this location.
So 10 trips a day, say, because 3 times 3 is 9.
Yeah. You know what? You're more closer to 6 because they're leaving in the morning full, coming back, loading, leaving, coming back, loading, and parking.
Okay. And you're not filling, there's no filling station for anything. It's simply your bobtail trucks.
Correct. This is not a small gas cylinder filling station.
Any other board members have any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll open it up to the public. If anybody from the public has any comments or questions? Well, hearing none, I will close our public comment. What is your timetable? Chris, do you know what your timetable is for final and all that stuff?
So for final plans, we want to move forward, as quickly as possible. I'd have to look to see what the schedule is in order to make the plan changes. But I know that Energy North is looking to move forward with this sooner than later.
The reason I'm asking is, should we have a site walk?
We can have a sidewalk if the board so chooses.
I'm kind of asking the board. Like I said, we've walked the Murray property to the north a couple times at least. I've walked a B&B lane to the south a couple times at least. I know it's flat out there. I know it's gravel.
Well, we got a couple of members I don't think that have been out there. I don't think Pastor Bill or Ray certainly, I don't think has been out there. You
I've
guys just
been-
want to go on your own, or you want to do a site walk thing? I mean, I'm with Craig. I mean, I live 400 feet away, so I know what it looks like over there.
Yeah, I've been in there several times, so I don't know. I don't need to see it.
Well, in that case, if Ray wants to see it, I guess he can drive by, right? If the three of us, I know Chuck's been there a couple times too, so.
Yeah, and I'm not smart enough to know what I'm looking at yet, so.
If you want to go look at it, Ray, I'll meet you over there. I mean, the two of us, we can just go over there.
In that case,
It's not a board meeting if there's just two of us. To just take a look at it if you want.
Yeah, I'm game.
if Bruce is calling, you can meet there in 5 minutes after that.
I'll send you an email or something, or send me something. We'll touch base when we meet over there.
Sounds good.
Okay. But I don't think we need a formal sidewalk in.
We certainly have to let the applicant know that he can certainly join you if he wants to, however.
Yeah, I'll set it up with Ray, and I'll let Kelly know, and she can let the applicant know.
So they give them a couple of days notice, so we don't want to be meeting on the site without at least inviting them along, even if it's just two of us. I think it's a pretty simple plan, actually. I mean, we know it's a flat site, at least I do.
Right.
That one little hump, you're going to grade that down, you're going to fill, at least fill it up 6 inches.
Yep.
We know it's sandy soil. We know we got a dry hydrant right down the road.
No, it's just a fire department issues.
Yeah, the fire department, they're not, if the fire department's not worried about the propane tanks, I don't think I'm going to worry about them either. They're the ones that have to deal with that.
Usually when they go up, the valves blow off the top, and they vent out the top. The tanks don't actually blow up, so.
There are notes pertaining to the aquifer protection.
Yeah, so on,
Yes, I see note 3 says it.
yep, yeah, note 3, it says industrial district and located within the aquifer protection
Okay.
zone. So, Mr. Chair and also members of the board, I guess my question to you is, because we were just adding the small gravel area and the propane tanks, we haven't planned for any formal stormwater management systems. Is there a requirement to have something like this? Is there a waiver process? There's, like I said, there's not a significant real change in what's going on out there, and I was just, I just have to ask a question. I know it's all great, it's all sandy material out there, so anything that's, not in the actual hard packed gravel area, it's just going to really infiltrate into the ground anyway. And my concern with developments where they have the diesel canopy in the rear, we typically don't like to, propose infiltration for, sites like that, whether it's a gas station or a bulk fuel storage site.
I believe the regulations, and I could look it up to be sure, but I believe the regulations worded that you have to infiltrate as if there's no increase in the impervious. So if you're at 50% now, you just using numbers, you're going to go to 55%. That 5% has to all be infiltrated. If you know what I mean.
Sure. And there's
it's not getting it back down to 10. We're trying to make you no more.
Sure.
You so it's not more non-conforming.
Right.
I don't think we
is there
really
a waiver?
I think it's kind of up to us. I don't think you can certainly ask for a waiver, but I would think that, what were those test pits you had down by where the word says proposed guardrail? How deep were those seasonal high water in those?
So I can show you on that. So there's a test pit
Yeah,
here, and here. We
How
have.
deep was that 3-3 or whatever it was?
Yeah, 1 second. So test pit 2-3, there was a 4-foot water table. Test pit 1, there was a 4-foot water table. Test pit 2, there's a 4-foot water table. Actually, I'm sorry, there was 4 feet everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. That makes sense. It's all flat. And the whole site's draining towards B&B, well, not all of it, but all of your area you're disturbing is gonna drain towards B&B
Correct.
Lane.
Correct.
So I would think if you put a little shallow, lack of a better term, basin.
Just
Right
outside
where-
the fence area, like outside where the tanks are.
I was gonna say, right about where it says 348, 384.5.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I could do something like that, or
Something.
maybe a combination of that, and maybe just some stone trench drains,
Yeah.
maybe along the edge of pavement.
Infiltrator, yeah.
Yep.
Because I don't think you're gonna have any runoff from that
Okay.
little area. I don't think you have any runoff from it, period, personally.
Sure.
I don't.
Isn't there already a ditch along the B&B Drive that runs in there on the left side going in?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's an existing ditch here. There's a culvert going underneath the driveway. There's a culvert going underneath this driveway, and then it goes out to a head wall in this direction here. So the swale is basically running along the front of the property.
That flows water most of the time too. At least a couple times I've been, well, upstream it does. I don't know about down here.
Yeah, pretty much every time it rains more than like a quarter of an inch, it'll have water in it.
And the idea is to infiltrate the water, not, it's still gonna infiltrate when it gets to the fire pond, but it'd be nice to infiltrate it on the site rather than the fire pond. I think something like that and ask for a waiver from the full drainage study would be fine with me personally.
Okay.
You know, what they're doing there, I mean, the only thing that would be in the ground is what drips off the trucks because that gas doesn't go in the ground.
Yeah, the propane's not gonna go in the ground, that's for sure.
Right.
So did you? So you indicated we could ask for a waiver for a full drainage study.
Yes. I would support it. I'm not gonna speak for the board, but I will.
Okay.
How big an area are you disturbing right there, roughly? Just out of-
Yeah. So we're about 24,000 square feet.
Oh,
So
yes.
about, yep,
Half an acre,
exactly.
roughly.
So we're not so we don't trip the NIPD's threshold either.
No.
Those delivery trucks, they run on propane, don't they?
Pete, are you
So-
still there?
Ours do not. Ours are a distillate fuel,
Okay.
the diesel.
Yeah, I know a lot of those propane bobtail trucks actually run on propane too.
Yeah, that's a lot are transitioning that from what we're seeing, and that's something we've actually been looking into. But currently, our fleet is diesel.
I don't have any other questions. I think it's pretty simple. As long as you take care of the fire department and water doesn't run off, I think we're all set.
All right, so what would be the next filing date to get revised plans back to the board and kind of keep this process moving?
That's up to Kelly. I don't know what that date is. Kelly, you there? Uh-oh.
She's still on, she's just muted.
No, I'm here.
What's the next deadline to submit?
Well, if you're going to approve it with conditions, they just have to revise the plan and come back
No.
anytime for a signature. But
He's on a design review.
and you're looking at April 22nd for a hearing. April 8th is a workshop, but April 22nd is a hearing.
So you need 21 days before the 22nd. So you got a week, basically.
Okay.
We want to continue this for the 22nd?
Well, this is design review, so he's not going to get a final approval anyway.
No, but to get it on the 22nd, we just continue it, right? I mean,
If he wants to be continued, he can, but to be design review and he has to resubmit for final.
oh, okay.
I don't personally see the sense of continuing this. As far as I'm concerned, they passed the design review phase. If we do any
No,
zoning,
that's fine. I didn't know we had notified butters again. That's why it was.
yep.
Mr. Chair, can I just ask a question? For the conditional use permit, is that a separate application or do we just include that in this application? I don't see a separate application form in the ordinance.
Yes, there is a separate application.
Okay.
Where it is, I don't know that.
That's okay. I'll reach out to Kelly tomorrow and I'm sure.
It's obviously be filed simultaneously. Both applications will be filed at the same time.
Okay, yeah, great. Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
on the plan that I am looking at, I just joined because I was in another meeting. And I had a question on the plans that I received in the pamphlet. That showed a gas island for fueling station.
Yes.
Is that already there? Is that the
Yes.
existing one?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, there is an existing fueling island located generally here with an above ground diesel tank here. That is to remain and not be altered.
Okay, that's the pre-existing one that's at that location.
That is correct, sir.
Okay, that's the question I had. It didn't seem to be that clear on the plans.
Nice you could make it, Jack.
Well, busy day.
I understand. Does anybody else have any questions? Does the applicant have any other questions? I think we're all set, personally. I think looks nice.
I think, yeah, no, I believe, we have the comments by the board. We'll get ready and file for the final planning board and submit and get on, and we'll see you guys soon.
I mean, the Conservation Commission had 4 questions. You already answered them, so I didn't even bring them up, so. Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night.
Night.
Bye.
The next item on the agenda is conception for Jordan Estrada for a proposed access off Bart Clough Road. Proposed building to share a driveway which may be new private road and require a conditional use permit.
Yes, Craig, on your new private road ordinance,
Yes.
this existing shared driveway would now be shared with 3.
Okay. Sort of. Do we have any plans or anything to look at, or
Yeah, I thought I sent you a plan. Didn't I send you the plan?
you did? Uh-oh.
No problem, I can send it right now, but I thought I sent it.
I don't remember seeing anything, Kelly.
No, I don't.
All right, wait 1 second.
You know the map and lot number by any chance?
It's map 49, lot 20.
Should be on the agenda too.
Ah, I see it on the GIS at least. Okay. Almost a triangular shaped lot.
It might be easier just to send you sort of what one of the neighbors sent. Did I get anything yet? I have to go to my other computer. I'm on the little laptop here. Hold on.
That's right. I'm searching with Google Earth and the GIS and everything else and try to figure out. what
But
we're
I
looking at
think,
here.
I think Jordan or Tom can explain what the existing driveway is now.
Absolutely, yeah. And would you like me to talk about it?
Please, please.
Yeah. So it's an existing private drive off of Bart Clough Road. It services, I believe, 4 lots back there. Tom's lot, the lot that we're looking to purchase from Lewis Page, who's the owner, and then there's 1 lot to the north of it that doesn't access the road. Then there's another lot at the front of it that has access both to Bart Clough and to the private drive, and then there's 1 last vacant lot in the back. So there's so we would be the 3rd lot access from the private drive with a building on it.
There are 2 house lots and a house trailer lot already permitted on the right of way. The 4th lot that belongs to Lewis Page is the only undeveloped lot on this 4 lot subdivision on this private right of way, which is 614 feet long.
Thanks, Tom.
So I'm looking at Google Earth. I see the road going in, and there's a house on the left. It looks like a couple hundred feet in.
Yep.
Then the road goes back the whole way, and it curves off looks like a driveway curves off the right, and there's a house back there to the right. Those are 2 lots you're talking about. That's the 2 lots you're talking about that currently have it, right?
Yeah.
Those are the 2 current lots. There's also a 3rd lot there that has a house trailer in it. It's to the left, further back.
Now, we have looked at the assessment card for that house trailer, and it's tax assessed as merely a shed. It's not inhabitable. It looks like it's been it's not considered a house at this time by the assessor's office.
What lot is that?
What's on the card is they've got a building permit to build a shed near the pond. Okay. So the property has a building shed on it near the pond and a house trailer closer up.
Okay, thank you.
That's on lot 20?
That would be proposed 183. I don't know if it's lot 20. It would be the 2nd lot in from Bart Clough Road.
That'd be lot 19 then.
Yeah, lot 19.
Yeah, on the Google Earth, I can't see his driveway very well. Too many trees. So there's 3 people using the road now, right?
That's correct. Although one of them, it appears to be a seasonal.
Yeah.
Seasonal. Nobody lives there. It's like got a cabin by the lake, and then the trailer, which appears to not be habitable anymore.
But it is still existing.
Mm-hmm.
Can we kind of determine who everybody is here in relation to this application?
That's what I was just gonna say. Who's actually, who is everybody? Who's everybody that's talking?
I'm the other person talking. I'm Thomas Page. I'm the owner of 187 Bart Clough Road, the house lot that abuts the lot in question of being purchased.
Yes, and I'm Jordan Estrada. This is my wife, Brianna.
Brianna.
We have the property under contract, contingent on, as we've discussed with Kelly, obtaining approval from the town to build a single-family home on the lot. We have the property under contract with Lewis Page, who is, I believe, Tom's father, who currently resides in Florida.
So since it's conceptual, what's your questions for us? Start there.
Yeah, basically, we'd really like to move to where, as you know, there's a significant housing shortage that New Hampshire is facing right now. Not a lot of houses on the market, so we're looking into potentially building a house. It seems like a great lot. You know, it definitely has some difficulties that will make building difficult. If you looked at the assessment card, like there's definitely some challenges we'll have to face with the topography. So yeah, we're basically coming to you guys and asking if this is potentially a buildable lot, and if we can purchase it under that contingency, and hoping that you know, while definitely if we live there, we definitely hope to improve the road, to do our part, to fulfill our obligation to the community and to our neighbors as to maintain, plow, take care of the road. But we're also hoping to apply for a variance and a non-conforming use so that we don't have to, you know, convert the private road into a Class 5 road, because obviously the cost of doing that would make it prohibitive for us to be able to build there. So we're really basically just asking you guys the question, like, is this a buildable lot for a normal middle-class New Hampshire family that doesn't necessarily have the capital to do road improvements, but is hoping to, you know, undertake the project of construction on this lot? And I want to thank Kelly very much for helping walk us through the process. She's been excellent help. So thank you, Kelly.
When the board is ready, I do have a counter to
Excuse me, sir,
Gordon's.
sir, there'll be a time for the abutters to speak. This is
Okay. That's all right. I'm sorry for moving in too soon.
I'm trying to find the ordinance that just passed.
I should also mention, we also have an application in with the zoning board. We've provided them a detail. You know, I'm sure you've seen their application. It requires very detailed information. We've also submitted that with them, and we have a hearing with the zoning board scheduled for April 6th, I believe.
Our understanding is that it's fairly new for this board to review and look at it.
Pardon me? I didn't hear what you said, Brianna.
Oh, just that I think we're coming before this board because you recently passed some change that asked for applicants that are going to the zoning board to also come before this board. So that's why we're here tonight.
Yeah, you need a conditional use permit to build on the
right, and
private road.
That's what we're hoping to.
But I don't have the wording right in front of me for some reason.
For a little history for the rest of the board here, I looked up these lots at the registry. They were all created early 80s, one lot at a time. And there was 3 subdivisions done to create 3 separate lots, and there was a remainder that was never shown on any plan. It was just a remainder parcel. And that remainder is the parcel that actually owns this right away. And it's described on those subdivision plans as a future right of way. And there's language in those 3 deeds that grant those deed holders the right to use that right of way for access and utilities. And I'm gathering, but it doesn't say anything anywhere on any of the plans, that these were done under the old bona fide gift rule, where you could subdivide without having any frontage. Because all the plans were assigned by the planning board at the time. And this, just a whisker of 50 feet of frontage down here. This lot 18 doesn't have any frontage on Barclough Road. It just has frontage on. So those 4 lots all utilize that 50-foot right away.
Well, I thought I found it. Where'd it go?
If it's any help, I was able to pull the deed from the Hillsborough County office, and it looks like this was subdivided on October of 1977.
Yeah, lot 20.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
The former plat of Peter DeJager.
yeah, he owned all of it. He did.
Yeah. Very interesting. Some interesting history there.
Yeah, he created the 3 lots in the front, 22, 23, and 24 also in the front of that. That go down to the corner of Huntington Hill Road pretty much, but yeah.
Did you find that
Okay.
warrant article, Greg?
Yeah,
It's
I'm trying to
Article
find it.
6. I've got a copy of it here, and it read, "Are you in favor of the adoption of Amendment 5, Amendment number 5 to the Ware zoning ordinance proposed by the Ware Planning Board as follows to modify the existing Article 4.1, which is the definition section, to insert the following definition of the term private road. Private road shall mean an access to 3 or more lots. The private road must be shown on a survey plan dated prior to March 1988, or be shown on a plan approved by the planning board. The planning board may only approve the private road of use permit applications."
Then there's a thing at the end that says something about
Yeah, the next article.
a new building on it.
Are you in favor? Says, are you in favor of ordinance, Ware zoning ordinance proposed by the Ware Planning Board as follows? Add Article 37 called private roads, which allows the establishment of private roads through a conditional use permit.
Section 37.5, Craig, you wrote expansion of use of a private road. A conditional use permit is required for any new building permits on an existing private road.
And that's what brings us here today.
Yes, okay, that's what I was looking for.
Correct, yep. I think I sent it over to you.
You did. Thank you so much.
I'm trying to open it, but it's not opening. I don't know why.
It should be in one of your emails too, because you sent your notes to me.
Yeah, I sent it to you and I can't open what I sent you.
Yeah.
There it is.
You got it? So this would be one of the new ones since that ordinance just passed in March.
Yes,
I'm not-
37.5.
Right, but I'm not sure of the procedure. Do they do conditional use first, then go to the zoning board for their variance, and then back to the planning board and selectmen? Or no? What?
Well, they,
Which one comes first?
I think the egg came first. I would go to, I don't think it matters, but I would go to the planning board first.
Okay, so they need to file a permit, conditional use permit with you first.
Yes.
They already did their zoning, and that's scheduled for April 6th. I already did that.
are they going for 2 variances at the zoning?
They're going for a variance to build on a private road.
Yeah, that's 1711, right?
Yeah. What other one were you thinking?
The one that says minimum frontage, because they have absolutely no frontage. There's an article that says you need 50 feet frontage, right?
Yeah, but that access already exists. That should have been done way back when the first access started.
But this lot has 0 frontage, is what I'm saying. So it need a.
Right, that's why they
variance.
have a right of way in their deed, right?
But that's not frontage, Kelly. You need frontage on a class 5 road.
But it's an existing lot.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It says to get a building permit, you need to have 50 feet of frontage.
Okay.
If you remember, Kelly, remember about 2 years ago, there was a property owner down by the mobile homes. The abutting property had 45 feet of frontage, and they came in with a lot line adjustment about 5 feet of frontage. Maybe it's 40 and about 10, but either way, they didn't have 50. And that was so they could get a building permit.
That might have been before Kelly, though, Greg.
Really?
Chip.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it was Chip.
Well, in the history on this
Either way.
variance never mentioned anything about 50-foot frontage. back in 2002. It was a variance for a private road. It had nothing to do with frontage, so.
We can apply for that variance as well. If we should include that in our zoning hearing, we're happy to apply for a double variance.
Yeah, I think you need to
Yeah, I
cover
do
the
too.
bases.
That's fine. Kelly, if I can edit my my application, I'm happy to put that in there.
Notices already went out.
Okay.
I really think the conditional use permit should be heard before this
Well,
ZBA anyway.
since he needs to add on to his variances, maybe he ought to, April 6th, just continue that without even, and then he can come back to us and then go for both variances together.
He can go to the May ZBA and come to us in April.
Right. But he can go to the April one that he's already got scheduled and just ask for a continuance.
Yes. Either way, I think we need to do a site walk before we hear him. I would certainly like to see it.
No, I think the board should.
All right, conditional use, variance ×2, site walk first. Is that the order?
Site walk, conditional use, 2 variances.
Yep.
Yes.
And Mr. Page is in Florida, so he signed an affidavit for Jordan and Brianna, but do I need to get written permission from him for a site walk?
The property's in current use.
Actually, we won't be on his property. We'll be on the road. At least I will be.
Okay,
So as long as we don't step off the road, we're all set, right?
okay.
You may want him to redo
I
another
can
letter
give
anyway, Kelly, because I'm looking at that letter that Mr. Page signed.
Yeah.
It says to represent me in an application and hearing to obtain a variance.
Yes,
So you may want to have him adjust the letter to be variance and conditional use permit.
I'll check on it.
And then we
I
don't.
know I'm out of turn here, but the board knows that I am a steward on that lot 19. It's for sale. So I can grant you permission to walk the lot.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. That does make it easier.
Any date for the site walk? I just need to post it.
What are we looking at? The 8th would be the next meeting, so.
You have a work session on the 8th. Do you want to do a conceptual on the 8th? I mean, a conditional use?
What do we
still
need to
have
do
you
for
still have to
notices?
notify it. You have to notice it, Kelly.
Yeah. I think we'll have to do the conditional use on the 22nd, so you have time to get
22nd.
notices out.
So we're looking at the 22nd.
Right.
When would everybody want to do a site walk? And please remember, we're in fishing season now. That we're talking April. So Saturdays and Sundays are not very good time to be doing site walks.
When does that start, Craig?
April 1st.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Saturdays and Sundays are not a good time for site walks. Just let you know that.
Well, the fish don't bite at noontime, do they?
No, but Squam Lake's a long drive.
Actually, the trout ponds like Mount William don't open up till the 3rd weekend in April.
I'll do a site walk on like the 3rd or the 10th.
Well,
Those are-
this Saturday is the 27th.
Yeah, I know. But if you got to put a little notice up, it's kind of quick. That's why I was thinking 3rd or the 10th.
The 3rd or the 10th are Saturdays in salmon season, Bruce.
Yeah, it goes on the website.
The chairman probably won't make it to either one of those dates. How about an evening? How about an evening like the 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere in there?
Well, we have a meeting on the 8th. You want to do before the planning board meeting on the 8th?
And the zoning board meeting's on the 6th.
Yeah, but he's just gonna ask for a continuance, so that doesn't matter.
Well, I don't know. I need to ask a question before that.
Or do like 5 o'clock on the 8th or something.
What's everybody think of that?
What day is that fall on?
Thursday.
2 weeks from today, Chuck.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds
Jack
good to
probably
me.
I was gonna say Jack probably can't get out of work soon enough. Pastor Bill?
Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Okay,
Thursday, the 8th, 5 p.m.
sounds good.
Hey, I need a map.
I'll get up early enough.
Kelly, can you send me something, just a map showing this lot
Sure can, Chuck.
so I can actually find it?
Sure can.
Thank you.
Well,
And I'll pull a file, I'll pull the plans off the registry and have them for that meeting too, so.
I'm going to send them. Well, the plans that were the zoning board, that wasn't enough.
No, I want to get the ones from the registry, the sequence and how it happened and what's left over.
Probably let the applicant do that, Bruce. No, you can do it. I'm kidding.
They're only a buck.
Happy to chase any paperwork you guys want. Just tell me what you need.
Hey, you can do it online. They're like $1 a piece.
I did see that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we just, you have any other questions for us? Or we'll see you in May, or April.
So it sounds like so the sidewalk is on the 8th, then the variance application on the 6th. You said what do we do on the 6th for the
I don't
zoning?
know. I want to check to see if we can amend it, even though notices already went out. I want to check some dates and check with the chair before I make the
Thank you so
decision
much.
whether to find out to continue.
Yeah.
But did Tom have something else to say? Quick.
And then one more question, and then you said the conditional use hearing will be on the 22nd of April.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Assuming you apply for it, yes.
Yeah, I'll work with you on that, Jordan.
Okay, thanks, Kelly.
Tom, is there anything else you want to add?
Thomas does.
Oh, yes.
I'm, like I said, the steward of the property, also it's property that my father owns. I sent quite a few documents in, and I guess you can't open them. You're not getting to them tonight. One is the deed of the property itself, where it clearly states that the owner of the lot has to do construction on the road, which none of the owners of this lot, previous or current owners, have ever done on the right of way. So there's a lot of work to be done on the road. That the deed itself, by purchasing the property itself, states that you have to upgrade the right of way, do road construction, maintenance, plowing, and I understand it's a civil matter, but everybody that buys refuses to do their part under this agreement. So I have been the only person paying for the upgrade of this road for 27 years, till about 8 years ago, I guess. I was the only person that paid anything to upgrade this road, put the road in, do the blasting, make it wide enough, and add in the gravel in. Nobody's helped me. Nobody's paid their part. So I'm always stuck footing the bill. About 8 years ago, a new person bought 181. That's the first lot of the house lot. And he's been helping me maintain the first 200 feet of the right of way. So that has been a godsend. But now there's another 415 feet that needs to be upgraded, plus the maintenance on the first 200 feet. Otherwise, it's not made for two-way traffic right now. It can only abstain one-way traffic. So if there's a car coming the other way, you have to pull off the edge. There's room to go, but you go into subsoil, and then you rut up the edges of the road and destroy the little bit of gravel that's there. It's about 8 or 9 feet wide at its best. The town requires 22 feet on private road of gravel, and the proper height of gravel. The road needs help. And to grant this building permit without having them fix the road first, it will never get done. And that's why the previous owner, my father, was denied a building permit back in 2002 because he would not upgrade the road.
Well, that's why we're doing a site walk. One of the reasons. So.
And Mr. Chair, may I respond for a moment?
No.
Sure.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
I think we can go to the site walk and we can see what we need to see and talk about it then.
Sounds good.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is conception for Tim Wilkins for an updated plans at 695 Concord Stage Road for Look and Store. Site plan was previously approved in 2005.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Board. My name is Tim Wilkins. I'm a managing partner of All Purpose Storage. Our business address is 4023 Dean Martin Drive, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89103. We are under contract to purchase the property at 695 Concord Stage. And we just had a couple questions. When this was originally approved, it was approved for 3 buildings and only 2 were developed when they originally built this. So we're trying to find out what will be needed to build the 3rd building that was on the approved drawings, on the original drawings, which is a 80 by 160 square foot metal storage building, single story. And then I also have my engineer on here is Chad Brandon from Fieldstone Engineering. And we're trying to find out also any kind of requirements for doing any more expansions in the future. And I do have the site plan for the original approval if you guys like me to share my screen. Or
Yes, if you have something you can, I'm pulling up on Google Earth, so but yes, anything you can share with us is be appreciated.
Yes, sir. So this is what was shared to us from the seller right now. This was originally approved. The 2 buildings towards the north, the 40 by 150 and the 30 by 120 were constructed and are there. The 80 by 160 was never constructed, and right now they just have some sea containers kind of sitting there. Our plan is to just remove them and go ahead and construct that building that was on here. He sent another picture over that just shows the stamped drawings by the town, which I can, or by the chair from 2000. Is this, I don't know, is my screen sharing here with the approved where planning board stamps?
I don't see that. I see the map right now.
All right, let me go back and.
I think the names are in the way.
All right, 1 second.
The first name you get, the chairman is Paul somebody.
Oh, Paul Moran.
Okay, yeah.
That's all that's popping up here. Okay.
Yeah, well, I've got mine in hand, the old one, and it's dated 10/11/01, and then it was an amended plan in 05. Same signature.
And it's not allowing me to share this other screen for some reason. Sorry.
Well, I don't need to see Paul's signature. That's okay.
Okay. I'll stop sharing then. And so, yeah, we're just trying to get clarification. And like I said, Chad Brandon, who's our civil engineer, is on here as well. And he'll be doing a site plan if we're going to do any expansions. But we're just trying to figure out how we move forward with getting building permits for that one building that was pre-approved.
Mr. Chairman, this is Chad Brandon with Fieldstone Land Consultants. Do you mind if I bring up an aerial image? Might help the board.
Sure. See if you got the same thing up that I got up.
Can everybody see that?
Not yet.
So as Mr. Wilkins stated, the back two buildings are
I
shown here.
still got a black screen.
Yeah, it's black screen, Chad.
Really?
It
Okay, let's
says
try
you
that
have
again.
said you started sharing, but there wasn't anything there to share for some reason.
We've been doing these Zoom meetings for a year now. We still can't get it right.
I had a Zoom meeting in Meredith on Tuesday night. I had a hard time.
Can anybody see that? It's
Same thing, black.
same thing. Wow.
You know how to spell your name, though.
That's really odd.
That site plan was approved with that third building, right?
Yes, it was. And what I was trying to show on the aerial, which I apparently can't bring up, is that the improvements for the building really have been constructed. It's a big gravel lot there where all the sea containers are currently stored. So all of the improvements, with the exception of the foundation and the building, really have been done in that area. And I think the fact that they built 2 out of the 3 buildings means they would, my understanding is that they would be vested with that site plan, and that they should be able to pull a building permit for the construction of that third building. But certainly wanted to, come before the board and have this dialogue. They do have plans of expanding this facility in the future. Back when this site plan was approved, it was actually 2 lots. It was parcel 40331 and then 32, and then somewhere along the lines the 2 got merged, and now it's a 5.1 acre property. And so there is some ability to expand the facility in the back behind any of the jurisdictional areas up on kind of an upland area where it's actually kind of a gravel area right now as well. But that's what we wanted to come before the board and talk about. Is my client would like to move forward with the construction of that third building, and that would really be kind of phase 1, if you will, of his involvement. And then phase 2 would be looking at further expansion in the back, which I believe would require a site plan review before this board.
So I guess the first question is, does the site plan expire?
I don't believe, and I don't know if you want me to answer that, sir, but just from my experience, I don't believe site plans expire if vesting has occurred, and typically vesting is a function of completing a good portion of the work that was part of that prior approval. So as I stated, the 2 of the buildings were approved, and then a good portion, if not all of the gravel area is constructed. So the majority of the work is done, and what's essentially left to be done is building a building on an existing gravel parking lot, which gravel is considered impervious. So building a building in that same area, the same footprint would not be a change to the site, consistent with the prior approved plan.
I'm not sure I'm going to say this right, but I'm going to try. While I agree the site plan the approval is vested, and you are vested from zoning ordinance changes, I believe, for 5 years. So any zoning ordinance changes you would have to comply with. I don't know when you merge the 2 lots. That's one question, because we have a 50-foot wetland setback. I don't remember the date, 2008, I believe, something like that. So you have to comply with that. We have a 25-foot non-disturbed buffer around the wetlands. You have to comply with that. It didn't look like on that site plan you had up quickly that would be possible with the building. I could be wrong.
Can you bring the site plan back up, Tim, since you're having more success than I am sharing?
I'll give it a shot. Hold on, guys.
Craig, I was thinking if he could stake out the 4 corners of the building and we could go look at it and see what looks like, how much more needs to be done, or how, because like I said, along that west side of the building there where the wetlands are, I mean, you look at the GIS map from the town, you turn on the Esri imagery there, and you get a pretty good picture of what's going on.
I got Google Earth in the in the town GIS up on my other screen.
Hey, Craig, to answer your question, the merger was done in 2006.
Okay. So it's probably before the wetland buffer. Or before the wetland setback, excuse me.
In the setback, it's a 25-foot non-disturbance and then a 50-foot building setback, correct? The new regulations?
Yes, but the
Buffer
50
came
foot,
out wetland buffer came out in 2007.
the wetland setback, the 50-foot setback is only applicable for lots of record as of that date or after that date. So if you merge before that date, you don't have a setback. But
Okay.
you would have a 25-foot buffer because that didn't have that caveat in there. So that's what I was kind of thinking about with the wetland against near 77. I don't know if you have to disturb it anymore against that or not. That would be the one issue that I can see off the top of my head.
Right. We could.
Any grading near the other wetland would obviously be a possible issue.
I don't think there'll be any need for grading because, as I said, those areas are improved right now. But we certainly could stake the four corners of the building and have our wetland scientists flag the closest edge of the jurisdictional wetland, and that can be something that, you know, could be field observed.
So those container units are going to go away with this new building?
Yes, sir. They're getting removed.
And what about that? Next to the containers right now is filled with RVs. Where are those going to go?
So to the west of the two existing buildings, you know, like I said, since we acquired that, there's area for parking there.
Do you think
go ahead.
Do you think it's sufficient? Because there's a lot of RVs right in that other spot.
We do think it's sufficient, and we also own about 4 other facilities in about a 15, 20-mile radius that we could also relocate them to.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
To be blunt, I am not sure that this is the planning board's department. I think this is Kelly's department. If she's asking me for my opinion, that's a different question. If a site plan is already approved, I think it's up to her to decide if it's vested or not. And if it's vested, we never see it.
Until they go to phase 2.
Until they go to phase 2.
No, I agree. That's why I was asking the questions I was asking. I was trying to put that together.
So I'm throwing Kelly under the bus.
Okay, I'll look into it.
My only personal other issue would be, are those storage units that are off to the left in the back? Or is that illegal in this approved site plan, or is that a legal use or not?
Well, we'll take this
But I don't think
something back there.
Again, that's not a planning board decision, I don't believe.
Right. That's enforcement.
That's an enforcement decision, yes. I believe so.
You're talking about the seed containers, Mr. Chairman?
Whatever those containers are that are to the west of the existing 2 buildings.
Those are like portable storage, I think he put out there. So they're not sitting on anything. They're not on a slab. I think you can lift them up and set them down. But if we had to remove them, we'd have no problem removing them.
That was Craig Francisco sitting here wondering what those were. Like I said, I don't think this is a planning board matter. Is it vested? That's up to Kelly and the legal department, I believe, not the planning board.
Okay. Well, we won't take up too much of your time then. I guess we'll work with Kelly and see how we're there. And then obviously if we do the expansion, then we'll be back meeting with you guys with something a lot prettier, and we'll have our stuff together then.
Okay, if you figure out the Zoom thing, let me know, because I couldn't do it the other night either. So
we appreciate you guys' time.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
So I see we have Samantha Walton. It doesn't really look like a Samantha there.
No, that,
Doesn't wave like a Samantha either.
No, it doesn't. Does Samantha have anything to say?
I have nothing to say. Thank you.
that's Dave, right?
Yes, Kelly, it is.
Yep.
Hi, Bruce.
Dave currently owns that lock and storage place right now.
Ah, okay. So now we're gonna appoint officers.
And you have minutes.
The order of your agenda says 2021 appoint officers. Then it's minutes.
Okay, go by that order then.
And then everybody's gonna sit there.
So who has to move
Make
what?
a motion that we appoint Greg Francisco as chairman again.
Second.
Greg, want the position?
Sure, why not? One's a hard word to come by. But discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. In that case, I'm gonna appoint Junior Fillmore there as vice chair. And
Second.
Pastor, and Pastor Bill as secretary.
Okay.
I'll second those.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, that was easy. We'll see how his minutes do compared to the previous one.
Then, and for Ray too, once I get all of the zoning regulations changed, the subdivision regulations changed, and the new private road ordinance, once I get it all together, I'll make up a binder. I also found bylaws. I came across some bylaws. I don't know if you remember you had bylaws way back in 1972. I thought I'd throw those out, and if you wanted to, I'll email them and you can look at them and see if there's any changes you want to make before I put them in the binder.
Isn't that on the website?
I don't know, was it?
Yeah, because that's where I copied them from when I asked all the kinds of questions back a year ago.
Okay.
So Kelly, if you look at the end of the bylaws, they were amended in 2009.
I think they were at the beginning of the subdivision regs.
I got them at the end.
These were separate in a planning board folder, so.
Yeah.
I was just trying to gather all the information to do up a new binder for Ray, and I found him, so.
Ray.
I appreciate that, Kelly.
Well, Kelly, while you're doing a new binder for Ray, you might want to do one for everybody else too. Because we got new subdivision regs last year, and now we got this zoning change too.
Great.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm gonna do all the changes, but you already have books, don't you? Didn't you already have books?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I'm just
Yes, I
gonna update what you have in your binder. I'm making a new binder for Ray. So, yeah, I'll have.
In this packet, I never unstapled. Yes.
Yep, no, I'll send out all new packages as soon as I can.
Can we chat with Ray for a minute?
Did you get a color printer?
No, don't need it. Done.
Yeah, the planning board bylaws are right on the website.
Okay, cool.
Can we chat with Ray for a minute?
Pardon me?
I said, can we chat with Ray for a minute?
Sure. If he unmutes himself, sure.
Yeah.
I'm good at that. I'm used to the Zoom.
Have you served on a planning board or any kind of public boards before, Ray?
No. Nope.
Okay. The reason I ask is it's perfect timing because next month on May 15th, they have there's a Zoom thing that the Office of State is doing a conference. The planning board, they have a planning board track for planning board basics, roles and responsibilities of the planning board that I did years ago, and it's pretty informative.
Yeah, Craig sent me that. I've got it on the list.
Okay.
The OSI.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's probably a better one coming up pretty soon, though, for you, Ray. Better than the one I sent you.
super. As those things come out, feel free to forward them. The 15th being a Saturday this year, I think.
Yeah, it's a Saturday.
Fishing season starting.
No,
We heard.
Kim. He's a good guy.
Yeah, well, Craig, we'll have to talk. I actually parked my boat up on Squam.
You just have to go to a fishing spot where you can get Wi-Fi, so you can do it on your tablet.
Yeah, there you go.
Just a thought.
Well, I'm actually just as a side note, I'm actually the president of the Squam River Landing Boat Slip Condo Association at River Edge Marina there.
Craig is thrilled.
And I'm actually in the process of putting in Wi-Fi for all the members there. So I'll just have to make sure that I've got a good strong signal out on the boat.
Yeah. Calm down, Craig. Calm down.
Sounded like we were doing a commercial.
I'm always looking for a fishing buddy up there. That's just a fantastic lake for fishing.
I fished it 15 years ago, and then last year, or 2 years ago. That's it. So
yeah, it's a dangerous lake if you're not really paying attention or understanding it. But there are so many reefs and stuff there that the fishing is great. We'll have to get you out.
Craig.
Anybody else?
Craig, Chuck wants to go fishing. Yes,
Sorry?
Chuck.
A question on that, the last hearing we had with Jordan and Brianna, we were going to go on a site walk. Is that located up on the north end of Perkins Pond, that road?
No.
No.
No. Oh, okay.
Off of Barnard Hill,
Oh, it's on Bonnet Hill. All right. Okay, I'm good.
off of River Road, though, not the,
You know what Roosevelt Road is up there, Chuck?
just after that.
Off Bonnet Hill Road?
Yeah, you know what Roosevelt Road is off Bonnet Hill Road?
Well, you must come in off from
River Road.
River Road. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how to.
Yeah, you go up there about past where Jason's house used to be up there. You go past that about a mile and a half.
Yeah. Oh, and it's the road to the right? The right end. The road splits there.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's Huntington Hill that splits. It's just before that split.
Yeah.
All right. I got a better idea now. Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, Chuck, it's after that big white farm on the left-hand side after you go around the curve.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They were in here for all kinds of things.
Yeah, but it's after that, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know where it is now.
Let's accept minutes, Craig.
Yep, I'm all set with the minutes. Yeah, minutes of March 11th. My wife's walking by, so I gotta hold these up. Don't everybody look. What's the point of holding the paper up? Yes, minutes of March 11th. I looked through them. I didn't read B, the safely store, because I wasn't there. But the discussion with Matthew, whatever it is, South Dark Highway looks good.
I don't think there's any corrections. Karen's pretty thorough.
Wow, I just saw a correction.
Oh.
It's on Safely Store. Last paragraph, second line. 2 evergreen trees by the telephone pole. Pole is spelled P-O-L-E, not P-O-L-L.
All depends if you want to vote or dance.
Right. Other than that, they look good, though.
Any other
Make the
changes?
motion, we accept them as corrected then.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by Pastor Bill. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? So when are we gonna be doing these meetings live and in person up there, Naomi? Or don't we know?
For the month of April, you're staying remote, and then the board's gonna reassess what we look like at the end of April.
Okay.
I'll be all vaccinated by then.
I'm all vaccinated now.
I'm all vaccinated too.
I get my first shot on Sunday. I'm participating in the New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
That's where I got mine.
Oh, yeah, me too. I go Saturday.
Yeah, so by the end of April, you'll all be in the clear.
Actually, by about the second week of May, because isn't it 2 weeks after the second shot?
Oh, 3 weeks, I think, yeah.
3 weeks.
It's 2.
I don't care. I'll go fishing with you because I'm good.
There you
So
go.
I don't care.
And you'll be out in the fresh air.
Yeah, exactly. Well, somehow we'll social distance. I don't care.
Yeah, and we can keep 6 feet apart on my boat.
What kind of boat you got?
I got a 25-foot tri-tune.
Oh, got my 18-foot Lund beat. Okay.
Well, I got a little 13-foot Carolina skiff as well.
We need to put some more questions on that volunteer form, Naomi. Something about size of boats, size of engine, where you park the boat.
There you go. I'm all for it.
Anything else, Kelly? Are we done?
No, that's it. I'm all set.
Okay. Bruce made a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a
didn't you?
motion to adjourn. Sure.
Second.
Jack seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night.